Woo! What's up, everybody? In this video, we're going to be covering all of the high-yield essentials when it comes to introduction to macromolecules. Please remember to check out all of the other videos we have installed for you if you truly want to nail Unit 1 here on chemistry of life. Now, instead of sitting there, being a nervous wreck, sweating, and losing all of your body's water, like what happens in dehydration synthesis reactions, please head over to our website instead and get access to all of our premium resources here at teachmebio.org, and once and for all, set straight your AP biology career. Now, without further ado, let's just get started with this video. In the previous video, we established that us organisms are made up of cells, and cells are the smallest unit of life. And if we look real close at cells, we will find that they are made up of molecules, so many different kinds of molecules. And in this video, we're going to simplify it down to 4 big categories. All of these ones are considered to be macromolecules, macro meaning big. So all of these molecules are really rather large. That's important to know. And they include carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acids, and proteins. Now, when we take a look at them real close, we know that they're made up of atoms. So many atoms, right? And the key ones are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. They're really abundant. But nucleic acids also contain nitrogen and phosphorus, and proteins, they contain sulfur. Now, what we need to do next is talk a little bit about their key functions. You should know we're going to go into way more detail in their respective units regarding their functions. But for now, I want to give you just one key functions about each of these macromolecules. But just bear in mind, this is not the full story. Now let's start with carbohydrates. You need to know that carbohydrates are a great source of energy, especially short-term energy. Lipids are also a great source of energy, but they serve a role in being a long-term source of energy rather than short-term. Nucleic acids, they are our body's instruction manual, our code. Our body is going to read our DNA, our nucleic acids, and build the proteins that they're asking for. So this is important. These two have a very important special relationship. Our nucleic acids code for our body's proteins. Our proteins would not exist without our DNA, without our nucleic acids. Now, what are proteins? Proteins are like little tools that have a very specific job in our body, and each different protein will do a very different job according to what its structure is. So that's important. That is the key roles that you need to know when it comes to macromolecules for now. Next up, we're going to talk about Legos. Yes, you heard me right. You know how you can use a building block of Lego, a single block, and you can take many of these single blocks and put them together to build a bigger structure? Now, guess what? That is no different to how it works in our body. In our body, we have many little molecules, many little Lego blocks, and we can put them together to build a bigger structure. And this brings me to the two key vocab words you need to know: monomer and polymer. A monomer is the scientific way of referring to a molecule that if you put many of them together in a chain, you can form a big molecule called a polymer. All right, and a polymer is a big molecule that was formed by putting many little building blocks or many little monomers together. Now, this may still not make perfect sense, so I'm going to illustrate it here with our macromolecules, specifically carbs, proteins, and nucleic acids, because it doesn't really apply to lipids, and you'll see why when we talk about that in the lipid video. Now, you should know that carbohydrates, their building block is called a monosaccharide, and it looks a little bit like this. Now, when you put many of these carbohydrate monomers, which are called monosaccharides, together in a chain, you will form this crazy kind of structure called a polysaccharide. This is a polymer, a structure that is formed by adding many of these monomers, monosaccharides together. Now, if we take a different example, let's say proteins, you should know that proteins are these macromolecules that are made up of this little monomer called an amino acid. So if you put many of these monomers, these amino acids together in a chain, you will form a polypeptide or a protein. That is a polymer. Now we can use one more example here of nucleic acids. You know, if you take nucleic acids, these little monomers, these little building blocks, and you put them together in a chain, you will form a polymer, specifically called polynucleotide, that looks like this. Now, this process, by the way, of putting many monomers together to form a polymer is called polymerization. Please remember that word. Now, we're going to use a very specific example because right now you're like, okay, I get the big idea, but how exactly do you put these monomers together to form polymers? How does that even work? Yes, we're going to use this protein example here. Now, here we have one monomer, and here we have another monomer, and they're both amino acids. Now, what we want to do is we want to link them together. We want to have them react together to form a bond in between them, kind of like this. Now, this bond, by the way, is going to be called a covalent bond. Now, in the process of having these two monomers react to become linked is called a condensation reaction. Why is that? Guess why? Because water is going to be formed as a byproduct, and condensation refers to the formation of water, right? So just remember, during this process, water will indeed be released as a byproduct. Now, while we're talking about this, there is another way that you can call this reaction. Instead of calling it a condensation reaction, we can also call it dehydration synthesis reaction because we are synthesizing a bigger molecule from two monomers. And in the process of synthesizing it, we are causing dehydration, which means the loss of water, which is what's happening here, right? That's pretty cool. Now, remember, this process can happen over and over again. We don't have to stop here with two monomers linked. We can link many of them together in a chain through a process called polymerization to form a polymer, right? A polypeptide in this case. Now, how does water form in this process? I don't get it. Let me explain. When these two guys react together, when these two monomers react, a oxygen and hydrogen from one of them will ditch this whole mess with a hydrogen from the other monomer. So they will basically ditch their individual monomers and go on vacation. They'll go on a honeymoon together. And as they leave, guess what? That is H2O, two hydrogens and an oxygen. And that is how water is formed. Now, bear in mind that this process can also be done in reverse when we take water and use it to try and split apart two molecules by breaking this covalent bond and releasing them as two separate molecules. That is called hydrolysis reaction. And guess what? That name also makes sense. Hydrolysis means water splitting because we are using water to split apart this molecule into their two components. So please bear in mind of both of these directions, condensation reaction and hydrolysis reaction. Now, guys, that is it for this video. I really hope it was useful. I hope we got something into your big brain, and we will see you guys in the next one.